Chris Baker with Baker DMM. This is our video digest newsletter. Topic of today's newsletter is going to be avoiding identity theft. And before I jump into our discussion, I'll read you some statistics. They state that nearly 60 million Americans have been affected by identity theft, according to a 2018 online survey by the Harris Poll. That same survey indicates nearly 15 million consumers experienced identity theft in 2017. So what that's saying is that the problem of identity theft is just increasing at a very rapid rate, and it's probably only going to get worse the more and more that we're online and in a digital world. And those statistics came from LifeLock.com in their education portion of their section of their website. And the issue I wanted to talk about today is really around the financial aspect. Because when people steal your ID, I mean, they're not really usually just doing it just to have fun and to make your life miserable. Typically, most of the time, they're doing it because they want to steal your money. And that's the big issue. And the way that you want to prevent it is by monitoring your financial accounts. And hopefully, if you're regularly monitoring your financial accounts, if anybody ever does steal your identity and does try to take your money, you're going to notice something unusual in the beginning, before it gets too late or too far and they take all of your money. Hopefully it never happens, but if it does, you'll catch it early on and you'll be able to prevent it from going any further and getting worse. In the meantime, before that ever happens, there's some things that you can do to help prevent that from even happening. If somebody calls you or emails you, you never want to give out your personal information. That's a big no-no. If anybody's ever asking for your information, I mean, number one, you should be contacting them as a vendor to help you, and then you'll give them whatever information they need to serve you. But if someone's reaching out to you and trying to pull information, that's typically a big red flag, and you don't want to do it. If anything, if you think it might be real and you want their help, tell them you'll reach back out to them, do your research, get online, contact them, make sure it's a real company, a real person, and then circle back to them and give them your information if it's a service or a product that you really do need, in fact. Another thing is when you're online using passwords, you don't want to use easy passwords that people can easily guess. There's so much information online now. They can go online and search around and find out quite a bit about you, and then they can take that information and start trying to use it to log into your accounts. So you want to use very complex, difficult to guess passwords, or hopefully they can't guess them at all, really. Another thing is with your financial data and your documents. Many of you out there probably get things by electronically now, but sometimes you still get paperwork, you still get documents, in the mail. And one of the things I like to do is scan everything. Any and all documentation that I get is scanned. It's entered into the computer. It's labeled, and then it's stored electronically in the proper folder that it should be in. And then anything that's confidential or has personally identifiable information on it, that's going to be shredded, with a professional grade shredder, and that way you get it, you dispose of it, and then no one's going to be able to go back and piece that information back together. So those are a few ways that you can even prevent it from happening. And as mentioned before, really to really keep an eye on your accounts and to regularly be monitoring your financial accounts. I mean, with all the different apps and online tools now, I mean, you could do it daily if you really wanted to. You can set up alerts on your phone, on your computer, on your iPad from all of your financial institutions. If something happens, they'll notify you. And at minimum, really, you should be checking it weekly. And if you notice something unusual that's out of line with your financial spending habits, with your budget, then you want to contact your financial institution and figure out what's going wrong. And if it was unauthorized or fraudulent, you cancel it, you stop it, and you just cancel your cards, and whoever that vendor is, you block them from charging you. And last but not least, some other items, things you can do to help protect yourself. Sign up for a program like a LifeLock or an Experian ID protection service, and these are online platforms that are run by pretty large companies and organizations where that's specifically all they do. They get your information, your personal information, where you live, your address, social security number, as well as a few other things, and they're constantly online reviewing and running through databases and queries and just trying to make sure that your ID, that your information is not being used in an unauthorized manner. And I think some of them even offer insurance up to like $1 million. You know, if something does happen to you while you're one of their clients, they'll pay you back that money, or work out some sort of arrangement that you'll be covered up to $1 million. So, those are some ways to help prevent, keep an eye on your accounts, monitor your accounts, and really keep an eye on, and helping avoid identity theft. And again, it's not like someone's chasing after you, with a gun, or you're being chased through an alley, or it's not something physical in your life where, you physically see it in your home or out in your neighborhood. This is online. It's pretty discreet, but we shouldn't live in fear of this. I mean, you see a lot of it in the news, and everybody's making a big deal out of it. But really, if you take a few preventative steps to help, keep your information from getting out there, and then, play some defense and monitor your accounts and just regularly be checking them. If something does slip through the cracks and somebody does get your information, you're going to catch it early enough on to where they're not going to really be able to damage you in a financial sense, because that's really, in the end, I mean, that's the big risk, right? Is people taking your money. So if you found this information interesting or helpful, please feel free to share it on your social media channels. This could be with your family or friends or whoever you think might benefit from viewing the video. If you ever have a question you'd like for me to answer in one of our newsletters, go to our website, www.bakerdmm.com. Scroll to the bottom, fill out your information, write a few sentences, and I'll try to answer your question in one of our upcoming newsletters. If you ever like to get my help personally and directly, the quickest and easiest way is to go to the website. At the top of our page, you'll find our phone number as well as a request an appointment button. And if you'd like to book a direct phone consulting session, scroll to the bottom, click on the PayPal button. And with all these options, I'll be in touch with you in 24 to 48 hours to confirm and schedule our appointment. And until then, I will talk to y'all soon.